Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Today we have our special guest back, our resident Packers fan, Stephen. He has probably a lot of thoughts about, I don't know, there is possibly a little trade that happened about a week ago. It didn't like break the internet or anything. Some guy named Micah Parsons decided he didn't want to play for the Cowboys no more, and he got paid by the Packers. And we have a lot of other questions to ask Steven his thoughts about the season, but I think we should start there. Let's just start with Micah Parsons. So the gist of it was he wanted a bigger contract what the Cowboys were offering. Cowboys didn't want to budge. So they ended up trading with the Packers for what everyone thought was kind of a steal. And I heard some commenters say that they heard that some other teams thought that's all they sent. We would have paid more. But hey, first come, first serve, basically. So the Packers just sent two first round picks and Kenny Clark, and they got perhaps the best or second best edge rusher in the whole game. How are you feeling, Steven?
I mean, I was shocked. I mean, a few days before the trade even happened, I mean, all over the internet, you saw a lot of people predicting it, some very random people predicting it, and everybody thought that was seemed to be fake, fake news. But since there's a lot of these spoof and parody websites, but I was shocked. I'll admit. I don't think anybody saw it coming, let alone for that little. I saw somebody comparing it to the Trey Lance trade that
Mm.
the what was it, the 49ers traded up three first round
Hmm.
picks and something else for to draft Trey Lance, who didn't even last his rookie contract, before sending him to the Cowboys, ironically. But it just the fact that the Packers got at least a top five, top three, maybe defensive player in the league for two first round picks and Kenny Clark um, is absolutely crazy. I don't know what it was. I don't know what Jerry Jones was thinking. Um, is he senile? I don't know. Because I think the most shocking thing out of all of that, other than how much the Packers traded for him, or gave for him, was the fact that Jerry Jones traded to the Packers uh, after what he said was one of the worst losses in franchise history. So I don't know what it is. I don't know why he did it, but I am certainly not complaining about it. I guess it's just sad that, we let go of Kenny Clark, who's been, a stud for the last 9 years or so,
He
but
has, yeah.
and he loved Green Bay and the Packers fans loved him, but it's if you have a chance to make a trade like this, you take it every time, I think, no matter what the cost is. So
Yeah, and then you guys paid him. You paid him
yes,
very well. It's
just
not
just a
like
little bit of money.
Yeah, it's not like he barely got more than Miles Garrett. He got a decent amount more than Miles Garrett, which that was kind of shocking. But hey, props to
Yeah.
him. He's 26. He's, like you said, one of the best defensive players in the league, and now he joins a team that really needed some edge rushing help, and now they
Yeah,
got it.
and the fact that Kenny Clark is coming off a pretty down year. If I remember the stats,
Yeah.
it's one sack and four quarterback pressures or something like that, or something to that effect. So they
Hmm.
gave him up on a really down year too, and he was from what it sounds like, he was probably going to be a cap casualty anyway next year because he's coming up on 30 years old, which in the NFL is absolutely ancient. And and here we are with a defensive player in the prime of his career, and I mean, I still can't believe it happened.
My only concern is the back thing might be a thing.
Hmm.
Because now he has like to get injections possibly. So I don't know what that is all about. That'll be interesting to see because backs are once you have a
Hmm.
bad back, you have a bad back for the rest of your life basically.
Hmm.
That's the only concern I would have on this whole thing
I
is
would assume
how's
he
his
can afford
back?
it. I'm assuming he'd afford it with his new contract. So
He could probably buy a new back.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But no, I really do think it changes the trajectory of the Packers. If they can, if Micah Parsons does what everybody thinks he can do, it'll open up a lot of things for the Packers pass rush, which was not very good last year.
Mhm.
And that was probably their biggest weakness, other than all the receiver drops. But that's another issue.
Yeah, and if Matthew Golden hits, you might not have that issue anymore.
Bro.
So, I'm just curious, Stephen. Do you think there's going to be any part of Packers nation that's going to miss Kenny Clark, or do you think Micah Parsons is going to make that all go away super fast when he gets on the field and gets the first sack?
Yeah, well, I think like I said, it's sad to see you go, but you make that trade every time, and it, it, I think if Micah Parsons certainly lives up to the contract, I mean, let alone the trade. Uh, okay, bye. See you in the next life. Um, because if Micah Parsons, I mean, I think I saw somewhere that said he's the second player in NFL history to have 12 or more sacks in his first 4 years.
You know who
And
the other one was?
the other one was Reggie White. So,
Hmm.
Yeah.
if he can actually live up to Reggie White on the Packers, who, you know, the Packers also signed in free agency, uh, I, I think I I think Kenny Clark will be forgotten quite quickly, as much as people love him.
Do you
How you feel?
go ahead,
Go
Andrew?
ahead. I was just going to ask how you feel about your run defense now. Is that going to be okay without Kenny Clark?
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, I think the Packers' run defense was actually halfway decent last year, which was shocking because they've been absolutely horrible since as far as I can remember. Um,
Mm.
I think since they won the Super Bowl, I think they've had a terrible run defense. So hey, I'll take people running on us all day if we can sack the quarterback and get interceptions or something. So
Hmm.
if Xavier McKinney can do the same thing he did last year with what, 7 straight games with an interception,
That was
um,
wild.
yeah. So if he can do that and all of that stuff, I think it'll the even if the run defense is horrible, um, I can live with that. But
Well,
I think they'll be okay.
and Jerry now apparently his run defense is great, so he loved the
Yes.
trade.
Yeah. His defense and team is now better by getting rid of Micah Parsons,
That's what he says.
because you never know what you're going to get with your first round picks. In fact, you might get Micah Parsons. So, who, who knows?
And then they re-signed their corner and they re-signed, I think, a tackle or something.
We're going to
So,
overpay from what I understand.
oh,
They
most
weren't willing to
likely.
pay Micah Parsons anything, but they're willing to pay some random guy and overpay him. So
Hmm.
Yeah,
who knows what
it's
he's
still
thinking.
bizarre to me. One thing I keep thinking about, Steven, is I don't know whether to be glad that you guys made this trade or whether to be worried as an Eagles fan because you definitely made our Cowboys problem almost
It's true.
non-existent. Um, but you've made the Packers problem
It's
much,
true.
much
It's
more
true.
substantial. So,
Well, to be fair, the Cowboys were never much of a problem anyway. So even with Micah Parsons, they were
I
just
was
going to
gonna
lose.
say,
They were going
look
to
at
lose
their
to the Packers.
success.
Yeah, they were going to lose to the Packers in the wild card, and then the Packers would lose to either the 49ers or the Eagles in the next round. So,
So
I
the
mean,
Cowboys weren't even making the playoffs with Micah
yeah,
Parsons.
yeah, it's true.
it's just weird because like when the Eagles go down to Jerry World, it's like they forget how to play. Every other game, I'm fairly confident we can win. We go
Sure.
down to the Cowboy Stadium, and I don't know if it's the sun. I don't know if that's the sole reason why there's no curtains in the stadium, or I really don't know what it is. But I feel like that we play our worst football down in Jerry World.
It's okay, but the Cowboys do too. So, you can talk about this with the new guy in our fantasy football league, Colin,
Oh,
I think.
Colin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can talk to him about the big spot, the sun spot that Jerry says is a home field advantage. And every picture you see is the wide receivers just absolutely blinded by the sun. So, um, yeah, I mean, it's just so funny that the Packers can't seem to beat certain teams, but they absolutely own the Dallas in Jerry World, and they own the Chicago Bears, and it's like as inevitable as death and taxes. So is the Packers going in? I want to say I I don't remember the exact stat, but it was something like the Packers have a better winning percentage or winning record in Dallas than Dallas does, and like, or they've never lost in at Cowboy Stadium or whatever. It was something like that. It was some incredible stat. Ever since it was built, the Packers basically have never lost there. So, I mean,
Yep.
it brings a tear to my eye that the Cowboys are worse. So, you know,
No, they're better. They're so much better.
if Jerry thinks so, that's what's important.
That's what's important.
But yeah, I mean, it, from what I've seen and what I think is this if the defense can hold up like it did last year and Jordan Love can really get over his inconsistency issues, I think the Packers could be legit. But we'll have to see because they're still, I think, the youngest team in the league. So, you know, for the third year in a row. But
Yeah,
that
that's
that
because all your
only goes
receivers are
so
like
far.
second year.
Yeah, exactly. Fresh out of
Yeah.
high school or something. So.
Well, Stephen, if we can switch gears with you a little bit,
Mhm.
this is all still tied to to kind of like the Packers, how things went. I made this graphic last time that we talked, and I'll just share it up so that we can all look at it at the same time. Can you guys see that?
Mhm.
Hmm.
So this was made by our professional digital graphics team. They did an outstanding job finding a way to like make it look like you're actually at Lambeau Field. And
I know
look,
it's like I was really there.
yeah. And but you gave us your predictions. I don't know, Andrew. How'd you say? I'd say you were a little lower, right? You weren't necessarily not hyped about the Packers for this year, but you were like
Yeah,
tame. You're like, listen, I'm not going in here thinking we're gonna shake the world, but
yeah.
so I'm setting
Cautiously
that.
optimistic.
I'm setting this as a context. I'm not looking for predictions right now because there's still questions to think through. But
Of course.
just as the backdrop, I want to keep in mind you said 11-6. You said a second place finish. You said that it would probably be difficult to beat the Lions out. So
Hmm.
keeping that in mind, um, I saw a podcaster do this and I thought this was a fun activity. I've got 10 questions for you. Um, and you can pick whichever one through 10, except not 10, because 10 is going to be the season prediction. So you pick whatever number you want out of
Hmm.
1 through 9, and we'll go from there in whatever order.
All right. Sounds good to me.
He might have froze.
I think he's still there. You still there, Stephen?
I'm still there. I'm just, is there a list of questions?
No, you're going to be asked the question, and
Oh,
then,
okay.
or like you're going to tell me which
Oh,
number,
I
and I'm
tell
going
you
to
the
ask you the
number.
question.
Okay. I thought there was
Yes.
going to be like a list of questions on the screen.
No, no,
Okay.
no.
That's my
I want this rapid fire, no
okay,
context or
okay,
nothing.
okay. Let's just start with number one. That okay, I understand what we're doing now. So
I'll explain the assignment better next time.
no, that
Okay.
was my fault.
All right. The Packers had a first round exit last year, hence the
Hmm.
number one question. You guys now have Micah Parsons, which, if I heard right, is number one, right? Isn't that what he's going as? Have you guys
Hmm.
heard that? So,
Yeah.
what round will the Packers make it to in the playoffs this season?
Well, obviously they're gonna win the Super Bowl now. But no, I think they always have a shot. Of course, the cliche answer is once you make it to the dance, anything can happen. But I think one of the things that really killed them last year was I think the pass rush. Plus, Jordan Love didn't play stellar by any means. But they did play the Eagles pretty tough, and I think if I remember
Hmm.
correctly, they played the Eagles the toughest out of everybody, other than I mean certainly Kansas City didn't, which
No.
nobody feels bad about. Um, but I really do think that the Packers do have a shot. Again, it's the consistency, and if Micah Parsons can live up to the contract, I think that's a big thing. Um, so do I think they can make it all the way? Yeah. Would I be shocked if they lost before that? No. Um, I think they could at least make it past the wild card, probably depending on what team it is. I don't in the NFC, I don't really see any real barn burners off the kind of off the top of my head. I think the stronger teams are more in the AFC rather than the NFC.
Mm.
Obviously, there's you have the Eagles and Washington should be pretty good, um, but I don't really see anybody else in the NFC being really 15, 16 win teams. But maybe that's just me. I think the Lions will regress this year, especially with losing both their coordinators. But I guess to answer the question in a very roundabout way, I could see them making possibly the championship, NFC championship game, but maybe I'm a little optimistic on that. I, I mean, other than Super Bowl, but that's me. That's the pessimistic is Super Bowl win, but no,
So,
I think the second or third round, I could see.
so is I just want to kind of get context, and I know you don't represent the entire Packers nation, and that'd be ridiculous
Hope
to
not.
assume. I don't represent the entire Eagles nation. Andrew certainly
Yeah.
doesn't represent the entire Vikings nation. Just kind of trying to get a litmus test, right?
Mhm.
Whatever team you're a fan of, there is somewhat of a silo effect on social media,
Mhm.
depending on who you follow and what you're
Mhm.
hearing.
Sure.
So, do you think it's the round they go out, if they did go out, or is it the score? Like, so if they get blown out, is that what would be the factor? Or if it's a disappointing loss, like, is that what would measure, like, this wasn't even worth it, wasn't a good season? Like, is
Yeah.
that kind of,
I think it depends on maybe it's a cop out, but I think it's a bit of a context of the season. So, for instance, in Jordan Love's first year, I don't think anybody really expected the Packers to do much, and then they go into the playoffs and they win a game or two, right? And I think they very well could have beat the 49ers as well, uh, other than some bad decisions by Jordan Love and others. And could they have won the Super Bowl that first year? Quite possibly. Um, I don't think I don't think Kansas City really has ever blown me away, even though they keep winning. Um, it doesn't make any sense with their black magic or whatever they've got going with them. Uh, but so I think even though they lost to the 49ers, it wasn't that disappointing of a season because I think they exceeded expectations. Whereas the second year of Jordan Love's career and was it was a bit of a disappointment because they lost early. Right. And a lot of people expected them to go farther. So I think now that there's actual legitimate um, um, expectations. I totally blanked on the word, even though I just said it. There's actual expectations for them this year, especially with the Micah Parsons trade. So I think they're almost expected to go at least a couple of rounds, and anything else would probably be a disappointment, especially if we're thinking that Jordan Love should be this franchise quarterback. I'm not saying he's Hall of Fame. I'm not saying any of those things that he needs to be a top three quarterback, but I think there are expectations now that he's in his third year starting. Their defense should be really good, and they seem to have a relatively good wide receiver core. They've always had a pretty good O-line, and
mhm.
Josh Jacobs has been, if he can copy what he did last year, I think there's legitimate expectations for them, and so it'd be disappointment if they don't make it at least a couple of rounds.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Um,
Especially with the Micah Parsons trade, right?
mhm.
I think it puts even more expectation on them.
Don't you think too, though, there's a little bit of a the better we do, the worse the pick gets mentality as well?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, uh, to look at other sports, I'm a big Edmonton Oilers fan, and they have lost in the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row to the same
Hmm.
team. So, there's now the expectation that every year they should probably be making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So, so it's even more like the first year, I actually didn't expect them to get that far with how many injuries and all that stuff that with the Oilers. The second year, it was just disappointment that with everything. So if they make it a third time and lose, I don't know what I'll do. Of course, this
You know
isn't
what
about,
you
but
you know what you'll do. You'll cheer for them just as much as you did last year.
of course,
That's
just not
that's
the
the
not
option we always
Florida.
choose. Um,
We choose
I mean,
misery.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm just referencing as an Eagles fan, Stephen.
Mhm.
I watched the Eagles in the early 2000s go back again and again and again and again to the NFC Championship and lose. And
Sure.
repeatedly, Eagles fans continued to hit the option for run it back, run it back, run it back.
Of course, yeah.
And finally, we hit it with the Terrell Owens, and that was enough to get us to the Super Bowl. Um,
But I don't think the Eagles fans are nearly as delusional as Cowboys fans. So, you know,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I don't think anybody is. But
Um,
yeah, I mean, I grew up as a
yeah,
Packers fan since Brett Favre, and I got to watch Aaron Rodgers win that Super Bowl, and then they've done nothing. It's just been disappointment and heartbreak with the most random things ma making them lose, like that the Larry Fitzgerald catch and the uh, is it Brian Bostic, the football off the face, onside kick, and all of that. And I was like, I think they would have won the Super Bowl every year if they just made it there. But it was dumb things like that that made it so disappointing. But you know, run it back. I agree.
well, you never know. Which question do you want to take next, Stephen?
All right, we'll go three now that I know what we're doing.
Now that I've actually explained what we're doing.
Now that I understand how this works. Yeah,
Okay, so here we go. Question three. The Packers finished with the third place finish last year. Where will they finish in the division this year?
well, I think with the predictions I had there, I could see them being second still. I think Minnesota, and I'm sorry to say, I think they greatly overachieved last year. Uh, what did they win? 14 games, 15 games?
14 and 3.
And I think the expectation was to win like 9 or 10.
ESPN has had us winning 5 games and getting the number one pick last year. So I was very
Well,
happy that they were really dumb.
so, and the fact that what was it? Those three teams all had like 12 plus wins, which is some
Crazy.
Crazy.
crazy
Never happens.
stat. Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah.
And then you have the Bears. I mean, the Bears aren't winning anything. They're going to be fourth. I think Vikings. I think it depends on JJ McCarthy.
Mhm.
Because you don't know what you got with him, right? And then the Lions are consistent, but the problem is what do you do with these new coordinators? Was that really that big of a loss to lose Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn? Uh,
Mhm.
and then JJ McCarthy coming off of this, being in his, second year, but first starting. So, um, I think the Packers, it just depends. How much do the Lions regress? How much do the Vikings regress? Do they stay the same? Uh, I don't know because I mean the Lions were devastated by injuries last year, and that's what kind of killed them in the playoffs. I mean, I funny enough with all the winning that the division did, they all ended up with the same amount of playoff wins. Uh,
Right?
so
Zero.
the same as the Bears. So I'm sure the Bears are fine with that. So I don't know. I think the Packers will be one or two. I don't think. I'm going wrong with thinking that. But maybe the Vikings will exceed expectations again. I mean, could the Packers win the division? Of course. And, the Lions could be second or third. Who knows? I mean, I think it's actually really close this year. And as opposed to last year where I think pretty much everybody thought the Lions were by far and away the best team in the division. And
They were
then
everyone's Super Bowl pick.
yeah, yeah, and then you have the Packers and Vikings kind of competing for second and third, and then the Bears
Mhm.
somewhere down the line. Um, so yeah, I could see them winning, probably being second, but kind of depends on the other two.
No, that's fair. So I just want to get this straight. I know it's hard because it's hard to be definitive, but it sounds like you're
Okay,
saying
I will say they
staying
will
at
finish
two.
second in the division.
Okay. I
Yeah,
just want to make sure I got that right. I don't want to be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
accused
So your
of,
standings are staying the same as you had predicted about a month
I
ago
think so. I,
or
I
two
I
months
think
ago.
we'll probably end up in that same order that we have on the screen here.
Okay.
okay. All right. Next, what's your next question you
with
want to pick,
with
Stephen?
with with my gut here. Well, let's just go the odd numbers. Let's do five next.
Okay. So last year, five of the six losses for GB or for Green Bay in the regular season came to playoff teams. I did that because the Lions twice.
Mhm.
Um, how many games do you think that they will lose this year to playoff teams, or do you think they'll do better than that? Will they lose less games than five to playoff teams this year?
Well, I mean, four of them were to the Lions and the Vikings. So, one of them was to the Eagles, and then you have the Bears. That was the Bears Super Bowl. Um, they still talk about it, and it's like their fifth win. They're like, "Yay, we beat the Packers!" But I don't know. The thing is the Packers seem to beat all the teams they should beat, right? They're beating and winning against the teams that are not playoff contenders or playoff teams. I think that's a good thing. Good teams should beat the bad teams. Um,
Hmm.
you know, did I expect them to go 1-5 against the division? No. I don't think anybody really did. I think they should have probably split all the series. But I don't remember who was the off. I don't remember off the top of my head who was their other loss to
The
the other
Eagles.
playoff team.
The Eagles.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I can do math. So yeah, four against Lions and Vikings, and then the Eagles. Okay, so really they only lost to three teams
This is
uh,
true. Yeah, that's fair.
all year, right? Because then they ended up losing to the Eagles in the wild card. So I mean, am I that disappointed? No. Um, because the Eagles, it's always like, at least I lost to the Super Bowl champions, um, right? But no, I think they should. I kind of forgot the question because I ramble a lot, but um, again, they're beating teams that they should be. I think they did win at least a couple of other or against a couple of other playoff teams.
Hmm.
Um,
I got to
so
look back that up just because I'm out of curiosity.
And the
yeah,
crazy thing is, the schedule this year for the NFC North is against a ton of playoff teams.
yes.
This is
So I
true.
think it'll be a big litmus test as to how good
Hmm.
of a team the Packers are. Because I think it's the AFC North this year.
Yes.
So you
Yep.
guys beat the Rams, you beat the Texans, so that's two playoff wins right there.
Hmm.
Um, Saints. That might be it. It might be two playoff wins last year because the Titans
Yeah.
were a playoff team, Colts weren't.
I'm shocked the Titans weren't a playoff team.
They were two. They were two, Stephen. Um, yeah, I think officially it would be two because the rest of them, like the
So two
Saints,
and five then in the against playoff teams.
Yeah. Did they play the
Okay.
Broncos last year?
they did not play the Broncos
They did
last
not play
year.
the Broncos. Oh, they played them this year. That's why. Yeah. Um, yeah, so like the question was what are expectations against playoff teams this year?
Like, do you think the record overall will be better or worse against playoff teams?
Well, and that's the thing, right? Because I mean the LA Rams aren't particularly world beaters anymore. I mean, especially with no Aaron Donald and everybody else kind of
Hmm.
aging. Um, and it'll be hard. Especially because they're playing some pretty good teams this year. Um, I mean, who knows what you're going to get with the AFC North. Um, let's see. I'm just pulling up the schedule for me.
And
Um,
the NFC East. So
and the NFC
Eagles,
East. Yeah.
Commanders.
The Eagles Packers games always end up being relatively good games. I mean, other than week one where Saquon Barkley ran all over the Packers, I didn't like that. But
I mean, that game still did come down to the wire.
it did.
Uh,
It did.
we couldn't tush push our way into the end zone, and that
Not that time.
that became a real sketchy game real
But
fast.
hey, Kenny Clark's not going to be there to stop it this time.
True. We just need to
Just
bring
saying.
BJ. We just need to bring BJ Raji back out of retirement, and then
Can we get the hot mic where Jerry Jones admits it was because of the tush push that they got Kenny Clark?
There you
yeah.
go. There you
Could
go.
you imagine that? Oh, that would
I
no
mean,
one
that
would
would be
ever forgive
hilarious.
him.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Um,
I mean, remember he didn't trade Micah Parsons; he traded Michael Parsons.
oh yeah, that's right.
That's why
Uh,
he couldn't resign him.
well,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah. Cincinnati. I mean, they don't have a defense. I think they only have
that's
11 guys on their team.
that's got to be a W. I'll say that for you, Stephen. That's a
Yeah,
W.
yeah, I hope so. Uh,
And they don't have an O line, so Micah Parsons might get 5 sacks that game alone.
this is true. Yeah,
They'll probably triple team Micah, and then the rest of the team's going to get 10
and then
sacks
Rashawn Gary
combined.
and Lucas Van Ness will get the rest. Yeah, I mean I think it's gonna be a tough out, especially with the AFC North. That's because they always have those really good defenses. Who knows what you're gonna get on offense, but and Aaron Rodgers, that's gonna be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. My perspective, it feels like maybe a similar outing, maybe slightly better.
Yeah, yeah,
For about
yeah. Both
500.
do it.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
I could see
I
that.
mean, how often does a team go 1-5 in the division that makes the playoffs? That
Yes, but
It's
feels,
that was the
wild.
big thing. That was last year. That was what was crazy about last
Yep.
year too, right? Because three teams made it, and yeah, and 1-5 against the division, which yeah, and still ended up with 12 wins, right? So
yeah. I mean, that's a really thin needle to thread, and they did it.
Hmm.
So
well, it was like what was it, 2 years ago? Minnesota uh lost every game that it was like 3 points or less, and then the next year they won all of those games.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
you could easily flip the script, and Minnesota would
Hmm.
have had those 5 wins that everybody was predicting. So who
yeah,
knows?
yeah.
It
No,
is nice that
it's
the
fair.
Packers have a kicker now, though. So with McManus, right? They got him
Yes.
last year and it seemed to fix their special teams problems.
Well, I mean, it's nice to have a kicker that can actually kick the field goal when you need that. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
a good thing to
Hmm.
have.
Which we didn't have since Mason Crosby left or retired. So that made me sad. He was
Yeah,
great.
it happens, man. When we lost David Akers, that was an
Yeah.
end of an era for Eagles Nation. So yeah, been
We
there.
just need more guys like that. Was it Cam Little or whatever his name is? Kicked a
Cam Little.
70
Yep.
yard field goal. They said, do you know how nuts that is to be on like the 40-yard line and be able to kick a field goal?
It's to be in
Your
scoring
own
range. Yep.
40-yard line and be able to kick a field
Yep.
goal.
I can guarantee that the Jaguars at the end of a half, if they have the ball, like if say their opponent scores a touchdown and they have the ball with 20 seconds left, they're trying to get to the 40 and just
I
kick a
know.
halftime field goal. Why not? Because they're
That,
not going to get, if he misses, the other team's not getting the ball back. It's halftime.
what are they going to do? That reminds me of when John Gruden put out Sebastian Janikowski, the Polish cannon
Oh
for
yeah,
like a 68-yard field goal or something like that, and he missed it by like 10 yards. I don't remember what the outcome with that was. Did they return it for a touchdown?
I don't
It
remember.
was
I don't
something
remember.
like that. And it that was so dumb. But 70 yards, that's nuts.
I
Hmm.
don't know. We might be getting to a point where that becomes more typical. I mean, honestly, the range that these kickers have today
Yeah.
is
Well,
phenomenal.
how just what was it? Not even a few years ago, it was like 50-yard field goals are like that's top of the line. Top best kickers can get
Hmm.
consistently hit 50-yarders, and now you're hitting 60-yard field goals consistently with like Brandon Aubrey,
Hmm.
and now this guy's kicking 70-yard field goals. Like that's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what question you want to tackle next, Stephen?
All
We've
right.
gone
Was
through
that
three so far, seven more.
that was five? Well, let's do seven. Why not?
Okay. The Packers played in seven one-score games last year. How many will they play in this year?
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. This one might be just a random guess here. Let's say five. Let's say five one-score games. Uh, either what is that? Either three or well under seven points.
Actually, technically 8 points or less
Oh
because
yeah,
you can
sorry.
still
Yeah,
get
yeah.
8 points.
That's true. That's true. Unless you do flag football rules, then you get 3 points. I have no idea. I mean, you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers game is gonna be like a 1 point game.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to be pretty fired up for that one. He might actually get over 100 yards
Mm.
passing.
DK Metcalf might have 15 yards receiving.
I don't know. I still cannot believe they brought back the same offensive coordinator. I would have made a switch, but
Oh, with
Hmm.
Pittsburgh.
more power to them. They want to run it back, and they will happily get the same result of 9-8. I'm sure of it. Just book it
And the
right
fact that
now.
they've had Mike Tomlin, they got to get that 9-8. That's all they need to do.
Hmm.
Hall of Fame guy because of that.
I mean, he has had a good streak, but
It's
this
crazy.
this current schematic is not working for him.
That's like the Cincinnati Bengals with Marvin Lewis for like
Right.
Oh man,
however long he was there. It was like 15 years, and you're like, how long can you go 8-8? It's like Jeff Fisher, right?
yeah,
People talk about Jeff Fisher and the Rams, and they like how every year was 8-8 no matter what. And at what point do you
Yeah.
say, okay, we want something a little better? Can you do something different?
And once I got rid of Jeff Fisher and I hired McVay, I think his second year he went to the Super Bowl.
They won the Super Bowl, so who
Yep.
knows? I don't get the Steelers. I mean, what don't haven't they only had like three coaches in like
Yeah, like the
50
last
years
40
or
years,
something?
yeah, something
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah. They just don't fire coaches.
yeah.
no, it's
Who
yeah.
knows?
I know it's tough, but I don't understand the direction of that team right now.
It's okay, neither
So
do they.
They have a top
yeah,
five defense and then they have a top five headache.
Yeah, just don't be the Dallas Cowboys or the Cleveland Browns. Those are like factories of sadness
yeah,
with their ownership and leadership.
Hmm.
yep.
Well, I guess the Raiders too. With you know, I was gonna say
I
Al
I
Davis, but he's dead. No, Mark
I, I
Davis.
I feel like the Raiders are potentially turning a corner. I don't want
Mhm.
to say they have, but I feel like it's not what it was. I feel like that, uh, especially like 10 years ago, I would totally agree with you that they were in the
Yep.
absolute pits. Um, I remember when they traded Randy Moss to the Patriots, and Randy Moss just went off and had like one of the most
Hmm.
incredible seasons in NFL history. That was like the epitome of wow, we turned one of the best wide receivers and one of the worst wide receivers, and in 1 year he went and became
Yeah.
again one of the most amazing wide receivers in the NFL. Like
Hmm.
that shows you how bad the culture was of that locker room, the ownership.
Mhm.
It just was not a well run franchise at all.
It's okay. Tom Brady brought his black magic to the Raiders, and now they're going to become the evil empire to
I,
to
I did
to,
see
to
I
rival
did
Kansas
see that
City.
the NFL has loosened the restrictions on Tom Brady for his interview
Yeah.
requirements. So
Is he still a commentator this year?
yeah, he
Hmm.
is.
Oh,
Uh,
that's weird.
by the way, hot take by me, but Greg Olson needs to become the number one man at Fox.
Yes. That's
Uh,
great.
Agreed.
You know,
Agreed.
nothing against Tom Brady. He's not a bad guy, but Greg Olson just takes it to another
I
level.
think I think Tom Brady actually got better as time went on. I think he wasn't comfortable with doing it at the beginning, but then
Hmm.
it's like Tony Romo when he first started. It's really fascinating listening to Tony Romo and like him predicting the plays and stuff like that. And Tom Brady started doing the same thing. I think that's always fun. But yeah, I think he was starting to come into his own kind of at the end. But I really do like Greg Olson.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know. It's nothing against Tom Brady. I think like,
Oh
if it was another situation, I'd understand it. Like I'd
yeah.
probably say that Tom Brady's probably on par with like Chris Collinsworth right now.
Mhm.
I probably would take Troy Aikman myself over Tom Brady at this moment. Tony Romo, I don't know. Sometimes I really like Tony Romo. Sometimes he drives me crazy.
He used to be a lot better, but
Uh,
I think he's gotten worse over the years.
the one that I think would have made the most sense is I cannot wait for Kirk Herbstreit to get out of the NFL. I don't
I
understand that
the,
combination.
the Packers never get him. They always get Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. That is like that's their commentator team that they've had for how many years? I mean, as long at like since the beginning of Rodgers, I think. And every year, every week, it's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. So, but Al Michaels, he just doesn't because he always gets the Thursday night games, right? Or is that Jim
Yeah,
Nantz?
no,
And Al Michaels
it's
sounds like he wants to
Michaels.
die every time he watches those games because because it'll be like the Carolina Panthers and like the Chicago Bears or something like that, and some absolutely horrible teams. And you just hear him talking, you could just tell he's like, I do not want to be here. I just want to go to bed. This is awful.
So, but see,
I don't blame him.
that's what makes the Kirk Herbstreit Al Michaels combo so weird because I feel like that Al Michaels is like, I'm only here for the paycheck, and Kirk Herbstreit's
Now,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I can't wait to get out of here so I can fly to the real game on Saturday night for college football. Like it's such a weird. I don't get
Hmm.
excited when I watch them. All I think about is, man, this my game might be better on mute. In fact, I think let me just grab the mute remote. There we go, muted. I
Just
I
listen to the radio or something.
I don't know. It's well, I listened to Kirk Herbstreit last year, and he called Vic Fangio Vic Fangino, and I just
Nice.
for me, I was like, I'm sorry, you just called one of the greatest defensive coordinators in the NFL by the wrong name, like, and then didn't even ever bring it up afterwards. I don't know how to feel about this. Maybe I should have more grace, but it just rubbed me the wrong way. So it's just always rubbed me wrong since then. But um, okay, getting back
I
on
don't really
topic.
listen to him, so I don't have an opinion one way or the other.
Well, maybe we'll compare notes at the end of the year. We should have like a top five broadcasters rankings, and we can go through and we can
Okay,
decide as far as we'll do this at the end of the season. So
sounds
because
good.
honestly, this would be kind of interesting because you could go through like you could go through the second, third, fourth options on networks because the NFL Network, even
Mhm.
Fox,
Hmm.
and CBS, they all have third and fourth
I
place
just remember
teams.
when everybody loved when Booger McFarland had his big cart thing on Monday
The
Night
Booger
Football.
Mobile,
Yeah, yeah, and he would like drive around on it and block everybody's view. And he's like
the
driving around on the top. And everybody's like, get out of the way. Get out of the way, Booger.
who was who was in the broadcast booth when Booger McFarland was on the
Oh, I
Booger
don't
Mobile?
remember.
Oh
I'm not
man,
sure.
I don't remember.
oh, it was Jason Witten, wasn't it? I think it was Jason
I think,
Witten.
yeah, I think he was okay too, Jason Witten, but he's like, yeah, I'd rather
Yeah,
go play football again.
he wasn't bad. Um,
Wasn't
but
amazing, but he was fine.
yeah, he was serviceable.
Now the
All right, Steve.
Manning cast, that is like peak stuff, the Mannings on ESPN2 or whatever they do it on, and
Yeah, I think I would like it more. I would just rather just go to the full screen of the game and I'll listen to the commentary in the background.
sure.
I don't need to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just let me
It
listen
is
to
funny
it.
to see their reactions to stuff though. Like you because you could tell Peyton is so much better, like a
Uh,
much better quarterback and IQ wise and than Eli. And you know he's gonna throw it to that guy and it's gonna be interception 100%, and then it happens. You can see it on his face, and Eli's like, I'm just here.
the
I have as
best
many Super
moment
Bowl wins as Peyton Manning.
The best moment that I remember on that broadcast with Eli and Peyton was they had an Eagles game one time, and Eli was talking about how he was flipped off by a little kid in Philadelphia, and like everyone was coming at him for flipping off on national TV. Oh man, so funny. Uh, he's a good guy though. He's a good
Oh
guy.
yeah, yeah. Did you see the new movie that's coming out, that Chad Powers or whatever it's called?
Oh yeah,
And they have, was it Glenn,
Glenn Powell, is that his name?
yeah, whatever his name is, Glenn Powell playing Chad Powers. I was like, they should have just had Eli Manning play
They
him.
should have. I
That would have
agree.
been the most
That was
hilarious. I think
great.
everybody would have gone to see the movie. I mean, it hasn't come out yet, but I'd go see the movie. It was Eli Manning playing Chad
Right?
Powers. Who cares if he can't act? That's not the point. It should just
Listen,
be funny.
we all saw Space Jam, so we're used to movies where the
Yeah.
acting's not stellar.
I mean, they definitely didn't make a sequel or a second one. So,
All right, let's get back on track here, Steven. What's the next number?
well, we did seven, so let's do nine.
All right. This one I didn't realize this till I looked it up today. But 9 of 11, so Jordan Love had 11 interceptions last year,
Mhm.
and 9 of those interceptions came before the end of October. So this is a two-part question. How many interceptions is Jordan Love going to have by the end of October, and how many interceptions is he going to have by the end of the season?
Mm.
Yeah. Well, he plays amazing once you get to Toyotathon. So, whenever that starts, was that December?
December. Yeah.
That's when he turns it on. So he won't throw any interceptions by then. Let's
I'm just
see.
curious, Steven. This is
October.
completely unrelated, but I've heard that Kawhi Leonard was busted for this illegal sponsorship
I
agreement. So I'm
just
just
saw
wondering,
something about that.
is Green Bay secretly funneling cash to Jordan Love through Toyota, and that's why he picks it
Yeah.
up for Toyotathon?
Maybe. I mean, why not? It's just crazy that like run that he has every year. And it's not even been just a one-off thing. It's like every year he seems to have a decent or like amazing December. It's like the opposite of Miami that just cannot play in December. It's just absolutely horrible.
They
Um,
should have the Toyota Thud and Toyotathon because I feel like that they would provide the Thud, the Dolphins every December.
yeah, yeah. Now you put Jordan Love on the Dolphins and then see what happens during Toyotathon during December.
I like it.
Yeah, so you said he had 11, no, what is it?
He
11
had 9
interceptions by
before the end
October?
of October,
Oh,
and he had 11
11 in
by the
total.
end of the season.
I wouldn't be shocked if he had about that many interceptions. I would, if I remember correctly, I quite a number of them weren't actually his fault. A lot of them, like right on the numbers, bounced off the wide receiver right to a defender or something like that.
Mm.
Like it was because I mean, for the last 2 years, the biggest problem has been the consistency. Well, I mean, Jordan Love's accuracy and decision making, but also the wide receivers have had an incredible amount of drops, right? And so I mean, you saw this in the preseason where you had so many of these guys dropping the ball, but then you have Matthew Golden coming in and he can actually catch the ball. So makes it worth waiting 23 years for a number one or a first round wide receiver. Um, so it's hard to say. I mean, with that, right? So I wouldn't be shocked if he had still 10, 11, 12 interceptions somewhere in there total before October. He always seems to play worse at the beginning of the year and then gets better as the year goes on. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I mean, hopefully zero. Hopefully zero with by October, but I'd probably say at least 4 or 5 by the end of October.
So should we say
I'll say five.
five?
I'll say five.
So
Five.
so 5 by the end of October and
Yeah,
11 by the end of the year.
I would say don't quote me on it, but unfortunately, this type of setting isn't about
Hey,
that.
this
So
isn't scrutiny. This is just more looking back
yeah,
later and be like, wow, I was either way wrong or way right, or
yeah, yeah.
Well,
all
every
right.
game against the Vikings, Jordan left throws for like 500 yards, six
Yeah.
touchdowns, and four picks. So And he
Yeah,
doesn't play
that's
the
true.
Vikings until week 12. So there you go. There's your
Yeah.
answer.
Well, and here's another thing I think that's kind of fun that I would kind of like to point out. So the reason why I thought the interceptions thing was so interesting was because Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love when they played in Brazil last year, and maybe you don't remember this storyline, Steven, but I remember it coming out. But people kept talking about how, hey, are these quarterbacks actually good? Like I remember that was the discussion after the game because
Mm,
both Jordan Love um, and Jalen Hurts struggled with throwing. They put the ball
Mhm.
in harm's way in some situations, and so the question was like, okay, like can they legitimately do
Right.
good? But it's kind of interesting how I mean Jalen Hurts only had 5 interceptions, but like there was a stretch for the first 3 or 4 games that people thought like, oh, he might legitimately be bad this season.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of cool that both Jordan Love and Jalen Hurts literally just flipped the switch in the season and became different quarterbacks as far as
Yeah.
efficiency, touchdowns, not as prone to mistakes.
Right.
So I am going to be watching that really close this year. And I mean, this is a guy that's 26 years old, so there's
Mhm.
still potential for growth.
hmm
We'll
And he
have to
missed
see
two
what.
games last year. At the beginning of
Yeah,
the year, he missed 2 games, and that 9 picks was in 2 less games than it would have been.
Yeah.
So that
Well, it
December
was
thing is
like
a real thing.
if I remember, it was like 2 or 3 games where he had like 3 interceptions, but he had
yeah,
5 touchdowns. So, you know,
Hmm
it's like the reincarnation of Brett Favre and some, the, you're gonna get 4 interceptions, but he didn't throw 6 touchdowns. So, I
yeah,
mean,
hmm
that's
yeah.
why Mike Holmgren's bald. So,
Well, and it's interesting that Andrew brought up the Vikings thing, but yeah, the 3 interceptions against the Vikings on September 29th last year, that
yeah,
was a very real thing. But
Thing was all in the first half too.
yeah. If I,
yeah,
I think I remember that game. Yeah,
yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. So it'll be fun to compare at the end of that of the season. But that
yeah.
takes us five through, Steven. So you got five more.
5 more.
Even
Uh,
numbers now.
yeah,
Let's see.
exactly. You the numbers. Um, I was going to say, wait, regarding age, Jordan Love's age, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers both won a Super Bowl at age 27. So obviously the Packers are going to win with Jordan Love going into his 27th year, turning 27. So, um, and they both of the other Super Bowls, they picked up a big defensive player. So here we are.
So
So,
wait, what defensive player did they pick up with Aaron
uh,
Rodgers?
oh gosh, I remember seeing something about it. Um,
Um, because I mean, obviously Reggie White is the guy for.
Reggie
hmm
White, and I
Brett
want to say
Favre.
Charles Woodson was the other one, but was on there. I could be completely wrong and misinforming our dear viewers, but
It was 2010 that they won the Super Bowl, right?
yes. Yeah, yes. The 2010 year is 2011. Uh,
Or maybe did they pick someone up the year before that you're thinking of?
there's maybe something like that. Thought I saw something about it. Yeah, it was Reggie White and then Charles Woodson. Because Charles Woodson they picked up for 2000 in 2006. I mean, so that was a couple of years before that, but he
But
was a real
yeah,
catalyst for that. And then Reggie White a couple of years before they won the or a year before in the year they won the Super Bowl or whatever it was. So
yeah, but similar. Yeah,
similar idea that, if you pick
hmm
up a Micah Parsons as this big piece, that might be the guy that brings it all together.
yeah.
So anyway, let's go question two
So this actually ties in perfectly. So the question number two is the
on
90s
purpose.
Packers played in 2 Super Bowls. How many Super Bowls will the Parsons Love era play in for Super Bowls?
Well, I'm disappointed that Rodgers didn't play in more. I think he should have been in at least 5 Super Bowls. Um,
Agreed.
at least. I mean, it. How many times did they lose to some random team in the playoffs that they shouldn't have lost to? And then, but random, aka the 49ers. But I don't know. It just depends if Love can figure things out. I could see I could see at least a Super Bowl two that they go to. Will they win it? I don't know because the AFC is so good. Like if they played the Buffalo Bills, would they win? I don't know, but or Baltimore or anything, but I'd hope they make at least one, right? Got to keep it going, one per quarterback.
I mean, I think it's a pretty reasonable expectation.
Yeah.
I know people have mentioned this as far as with Micah Parsons. Like I've seen some Eagles fans talking about how like, hey, he didn't really do that much as far as against the Eagles. But I think that people are misunderstanding the Micah Parsons effect. The effect of Micah Parsons is you have to add him to your game plan.
Hmm.
He is a significant amount of oxygen for the game
Mhm.
plan. You can't just be like, we're going to spend 10 minutes talking about Micah Parsons. No, no. You are taking probably an entire day talking about how you're going to run option plays and you're going to be going specifically off where's Micah Parsons on this play. You're going to be talking about protections and trying to make sure that a tight end never foolishly ends up with just Micah Parsons, like maybe the 49ers might do in a critical NFC championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles when they had Hassan Reddick. Andrew and I might have talked about that a few times,
This
and
is
Brock Purdy
all
might have.
all hypothetical, of course.
Right. Hypothetically, maybe you break a shoulder, maybe your back string, your second string
Sure.
ends up getting a concussion. Just those types of hypotheticals.
Right.
Yeah.
Total hypotheticals. Never
Mhm.
happen ever. Ever.
Never ever. Yeah.
And then you hypothetically go to the league afterwards and whine about how it's the league's fault that you end up losing to the Eagles in the championship game. Also hypothetical.
Yeah, of course. Uh, yeah.
And hypothetical, the rules change and they add the emergency quarterback rule.
Yeah.
Hypothetical.
But what do we know?
Right.
It'll never happen.
No,
Um,
never.
but yeah, I think kind of going off of that, the idea that Micah Parsons, I've seen stuff talked about that. What it really does is it opens up. It helps not only the pass defense with uh with the secondary because I mean the Packers corners aren't exactly stellar. They're not really standout guys. They're fine. They're not horrible by any means, but they're fine. But what it really does is, you have no pass rush because really their only guy that got pressure was Rashawn Gary, and he was double teamed constantly. And Van Ness, he's still finding his groove or whatever. But what you can do, I mean, Kenny Clark didn't do a whole lot for the Packers last year. I mean, he was there, but one sack. But now Micah Parsons comes in on the opposite side, which makes it so you can't double team Rashawn Gary because you have to do something about Micah Parsons, right? And that helps the edge rushers get hopefully more pressure on the quarterback, which also opens up the pass defense to possibly make more plays because the
Mhm.
quarterback is always under pressure. And then could affect the run game, uh, and so on and so forth. So I think it really is that effect that Micah Parsons not only um, it is a great edge rusher, but he also you have to game plan for him, right? And then you don't have as much pressure on the secondary to cover as long. If the quarterback is constantly under pressure, then he doesn't have as much time to throw, and you don't have to, overburden your secondary. So, obviously top defense in the league next year. So,
Hey, I like the confidence. You should
yeah,
be. You
yeah,
should be
yeah.
confident. It's a big
I mean,
trade.
hey, it's great having a decent defense. I mean, you look at some of those stats where like the Rodgers era defenses, and they're always ranked like 28th or 25th or something. I mean, Rodgers in the offense carried those teams so hard for all those years, and they were still winning 12, 13 games a year with their absolutely horrible defense. Especially they're always dead last in the rush defense. So anything above that is a win in my book.
Yeah. Well, I think it's safe to say that this is a different defense.
Yes,
This is not a
definitely.
20th ish. I mean, it would be disappointing if they finish in the 20s, right?
Yes.
I think of this, you'd have to say like top 15 in order to feel
Yeah,
like
I would
even
say
kind of
so.
good.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
hopefully. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
All right. What are we on? Question four?
Sure. Is that where you want to go?
Sure.
Okay. There were four Packers players that finished with 600 yards. How many will finish with 600 yards or more this year?
Is that just in total, like receiving or rushing or what?
This has to do with receiving. Sorry.
Or receiving.
Yeah, and that's including tight end craft. So
Oh yeah, Tucker Craft. He's crazy.
He
He
was
sure
very
not.
good.
He's like, I just want to run through. He's like the juggernaut. He just wants to run through walls and hit
I
people.
think I heard a stat where he was the best tight end with yards after the catch last year, even more than Kittle.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think Jordan Love seems to get the yards, right? I think he's thrown for over 3,000 yards both years. I could be wrong on that. I haven't gone out of my way to look up his stats,
three
but
thousand last year, and then let's see what the year before that was.
I think he
Four
had like,
thousand the year
yeah, I
before.
was gonna say, I think he had 4,000 or at least 3,500. So, if the receivers can actually catch the ball, um, I could see all of them getting 600 yards. But could Matthew Golden hit 1,000 yards as a rookie? Quite possibly, especially if you could trust him. Then you tuck him the ball all the time, right? It's like Jordy Nelson. You just throw him the ball all the time because you know he's going to catch it, right? So, um, oh gosh, so you said four last year. I'll be optimistic and say five. I'll say five players will have 600 yards at least.
I mean, I think that it certainly seems to be the Packers' MO is to spread the ball
Mhm.
around and to just make it so that there's always a litany of options for Jordan Love to be able to throw to.
Yeah, especially because they didn't have a really clear-cut number one guy, right? Ever since Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings and all those
And
guys,
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, who I should have said initially, but I was thinking Donald Driver going back to the Super Bowl here, but
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
you didn't really have a clear-cut number one guy like a Devontae Adams, like a Jordy Nelson, and Christian Watson is supposed to be that guy, but the problem with him is that he's always
Can't stay healthy.
he
Yeah.
is always hurt. He's a solid player and he's really good, but he just never on
Hmm.
the field.
Yeah.
And I think he's still recovering from his ACL tear or whatever last year. And so,
Hmm.
it's really hard, especially for wide receivers to come back from those kind of injuries and be the same productive player. So, you know, you have to spread the ball around, right? When you don't have the clear-cut number one guy, you can't have just Devontae Adams getting 1,800 yards and 15 touchdowns a year. As
Hmm.
nice as that is on fantasy football teams, so you have to, and I don't see that. I think that's been the success of the Packers offense the last couple of years that they've been able to spread the ball around with a good and have a good run game. So I could see, like I said, I think I could see at least five players getting 600 yards, but
Yeah. So same like last year, plus Matthew Golden.
plus Matthew Golden, yeah, who'll get 1,000 yards,
Yeah.
you know,
Ideally.
ideally, green and golden. So what's next? Is that question six?
Is that going to go?
Sure.
Okay. Question six. Reggie White played 6 seasons in Green Bay. How many seasons will Micah Parsons play in Green Bay?
Oh gosh. Well, he's 26, and they just signed him. Well, he's under contract for 5 years, right? So he's on the last year of his contract, the Dallas contract, and then he signed the extension for 4 years. Um, so hopefully at least five, which puts him at what, 31? Maybe he signs another contract. Uh, Hopefully for a little less money than 47 million when he's in his 30s, but you know,
If he's Miles Garrett,
ideally,
you'll pay that money.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean,
And by then the cap's going to be like $900 billion or something
yeah,
crazy.
exactly. They're going to pay him Shohei Ohtani money. All deferred, of course. Um, I just think with Miles Garrett, he's like, I want to play with a Super Bowl contender. And they're like, oh, we'll give you $40 million a year. Is that good enough for a Super Bowl contender? He's like, that's my Super Bowl. We're never going to win
Right.
anything in Cleveland, but I get the big bucks, and he can go beat up Mason Rudolph again. So
Did you guys see his clip talking to I can't remember, Andrew Siciliano, I think is his name, from NFL Network? He had
yeah,
Miles Garrett on talking to him, asking about who's the starting quarterback. And Miles Garrett just smiles and he's like, how did he say it? It basically was just like it doesn't matter. Like it's not a big deal. And it's like obviously he's just thinking about the dollars in his head.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Cha-ching,
He's
cha-ching.
no Joe Thomas that can name every single. Did you ever see that video where Joe Thomas was able to name every single quarterback he played with?
Oh no, I did
And
not see that.
That's not surprising.
it's like 16 quarterbacks, and he was able to name every single one that started over at the course of his career.
Wow.
It's nuts. You just go
Hmm.
look it up after this. It's just it even the person that was interviewing was just absolutely shocked that he could name them all.
He
From
might he really might be the greatest tackle that never
yeah.
was.
Oh yeah.
I can't argue with that because of a
At
person of what
least
he
one of the
was too.
top like three or something. I
Hmm.
not that I'm an expert on offensive linemen, but yeah. So I mean to answer the question, I hopefully at least five. If you give him another 3, 4 year contract, could you get him into his mid 30s and then he retires? Quite possibly. I mean, I guess it all depends on his health. If he has a bad back, then he's probably not going to last much longer into his 30s. So hopefully five, and then anything after that, I think is great. Especially if they win a couple Super Bowls, you know, then who cares?
Well, let me tell you, winning a Super Bowl does has an awesome amnesia feeling for the franchise.
It's true.
Just
I
makes
still
everything
hold,
else go away.
I still
I
hold on to
wouldn't
the
know.
Super Bowl from 15 years ago. So
Condolences, Andrew. Condolences.
But hey,
Andrew,
I finally got a title. My Thunder won last year, so
well,
I finally
that's
got
like
something.
That's like when people ask, they're like, would you rather be in the Super Bowl every year but not win, or have a Super Bowl win every like 30 years, every generation? Because that's what the Packers
Easy
had.
question,
And it's like, I'd rather them win.
right?
I
Easy
don't want to be in the
question.
Super Bowl every year. It's so disappointing. I mean, it's like I
Hmm.
said, the Edmonton Oilers, they've lost 2 years in a row. Sucks. You're like, I'd rather lose before that, and I don't have an excuse.
Steve, but what if there was a third option? Because I feel like that's the trick that the Jazz play on themselves right now, where they're like, "Oh, I'm tired of being in playoff contention. I'm tired of being a second round team.
It
Let's
sucks to
just
make the
blow it all up
playoffs.
and become literally the worst team in the NBA for the next 10 years." That was an awful decision. Awful. I really don't think they're going to get. I don't think they will get back to where they were. At this point, I don't see how they will. They are drafting so bad, they cannot pick up any free agents.
They're
I
like the
don't know,
Browns
man.
of the NFL.
They might be worse than the Browns. You
Is this
know, I
even
mean,
the Jazz?
even the Browns realized that Shador Sanders shouldn't start. So eh, I don't know if I
Could
don't know
you
if the Jazz could
imagine?
do the same thing.
Could you imagine the media firestorm if they cut Sanders, Shadur?
Oh, oh,
Has that not been weird to you guys? Like I'm so
Oh
surprised
yeah.
how much pushback they're getting because they didn't start him. I don't know what people saw that made them think,
I
wow,
mean,
this guy is
he was
a
so bad
starter.
against BYU. I'm not shocked that he dropped.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that? And we probably sound like BYU Homer Stevens, so let me just clarify that first. I promise I've watched more games than the BYU Colorado game, but
I didn't, and you could just tell he was bad. So,
you cannot retire a guy's jersey after going
oh
13 and
yeah, no,
12,
he
not
was like a
even winning
500 quarterback.
one playoff or one bowl game. Like, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
no.
What are we doing?
hmm.
That he got blown out in. It wasn't even like a particularly close game, and
No,
you know, but
And then all these like ESPNs and all
his
these
milk
college
hyper.
football analysts are saying first round pick, he'll be in the top 10. And then when he kept dropping and dropping, they're like, what is going on?
It was pretty glorious,
He
the
just
milk
wasn't
hyper.
that good.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
well, and
Uh,
it's just funny because like Jackson Dart got no love in the draft process. Like, truly, of all the top five quarterbacks, I think he was probably spoken about in the most meh terms. Like, if he
Hmm.
goes the first round, whatever, but it's a bad pick. They're wasting their time. To me, I feel like that what we've seen out of Jackson Dart in New York is like
It's
that
been
is a guy
great.
I don't want to start. Don't start him, please. Continue to let Russ
Hmm.
cook until you
Hmm.
overcook, and then you can let him play.
I mean, I think people have talked more about Jackson Dart than Cam Ward, and he was the number 1 overall pick. So, let alone Shadur and any of these other guys. I mean, I think Cam Ward's got to be one of the least heralded number one
Number one
overall
overall pick.
picks.
Hmm.
You know, but
Which maybe for him that'll be a good thing.
oh
I don't
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
He's got a tough uphill battle ahead of him. That
He plays for Tennessee.
I, I mean, between the Texans and Jags, I don't think they have a shot at winning the division, right? I gotta think the Texans or
Oh,
Jags are going to pull that out.
Texas will win the
Yeah,
division. Texas will win that division.
Titans are like 2, 3 years away. They got some
Yeah,
pieces, but no,
You,
this year is a growing year.
could you imagine
hope
if they kept their first round picks and didn't give them to Chicago? Wow, what a crazy thing. They gave up more for that for what Bryce Young than they did for. Oh no, Bryce Young plays for Carolina. I was
Yeah,
thinking
that was Carolina did that.
yeah,
Yeah.
whoever, same idea. I mean, could you imagine
Hmm.
if they actually kept
yeah.
their good players? Like, I don't know, some guy named AJ Brown and
Hmm.
some other
Derrick
really good
Henry, which
players
was a
there.
really
Oh,
good
you know,
player, and
some Derrick
Hmm.
Henry that's a pretty good player. Could you imagine if they were on the team with
yeah,
Cam Ward? Wow, they should
or
trade him.
maybe
Yeah.
They should trade for
maybe
him.
you actually keep coaches that were good. I still can't believe they let Mike Rabel go.
Oh yeah,
That was
yeah. I
he
mean,
was
Yeah.
not the
if
problem.
New England becomes any good with Vrabel,
New England's a sneaky team. I'm
yeah,
telling you, New England's a sneaky team.
yeah,
I give him two
Don't count
years,
them out.
2 years,
yeah.
and I think that they're going to be a legitimate playoff contender. Just because of Rabel's just that good of a coach.
Yeah.
You know who's not going to be?
They're at least 500 this year. They're at least 500 this year.
Did you guys see that clip of when he learned that AJ Brown got traded?
I think I saw it, but I don't remember.
He immediately stood up, and you could tell he wanted to say something, but then he looked and remembered he's on camera, and so he turned around and put his hands on his back, like here's on the back of his head like this, and you could just tell he's like, "Why am I working with such stupid people? Like, why did we just
Hmm.
trade one of our best players for a first round pick?"
It's probably what Brian
Um,
Schottenheimer thought when Jerry Jones traded Michael Parsons. Wow.
Jerry Jones would say, "Hey, I got a player and two first round picks.
Hey,
This is better. This is better.
We could get two Micah Parsons."
we could get two Michael Parsons, not just one.
All right.
You know what? But before we move on, we talked about the Jaguars.
Uh,
I kind of think, I don't know if I'm going full bore on them, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won the division. I don't know if I believe in the Texans because their O-line is horrendous and they did improve it. It actually got worse.
Mhm.
They
I
have a
just
good
don't,
defense, but if you can't protect CJ Stroud, what are you gonna do?
I just don't know what to think about the Jaguars at all. Like, that's such an
They're a
awful
wild card.
division. I mean,
Yeah.
what are you going to get with Trevor Lawrence? What are you going to get with, like, is Travis
Hmm.
Hunter going to play both ways? You
He's
know,
listed on their first like lineup as the number 2 receiver and the number 3 corner. So that
I just can't
says he's
imagine him
pretty much
lasting.
can play both ways.
I can't imagine him lasting in the league that long if he plays both
Nope,
ways,
me neither.
especially because he's basically a stick. I mean, he's like a string bean.
Hmm.
And, you
yeah.
know, I don't know. It's just, I don't know what to think about Jacksonville. I think they have some good pieces, but who knows what you're going to get. Who
Yeah.
knows what you're going to get with the Titans or the Texans? I mean, watch us somehow Indianapolis wins with Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Dude, that's
Watch us,
not happening. You
watch us
can
name
lock
it, but
that
it's
in
winning.
right now. I am telling you that Daniel Jones is not taking that team to the playoffs.
No.
It is not happening.
Well, Gardner Minshew was a fingertip away from taking that team to the playoffs like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but that was Gardner Minshew. I'd say Gardner Minshew is better than Daniel Jones. No? Would you not agree with that?
I think most people are better than Daniel Jones.
That's my
I
point.
would say that Minshew's floor is higher, but you're not getting a ceiling with Minshew. With Daniel Jones, there's at least something of a ceiling, but the floor is like a crater.
Listen, if you never reach the ceiling, is it a ceiling?
It's a glass ceiling.
I don't know.
And I will say this, Daniel Jones had like 2 months with KOC. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that fixed him.
They're going to
I like
trade.
your optimism.
They're going to trade for Kirk Cousins.
That would be interesting. I could see that the Colts getting desperate and seeing if they could.
Hmm.
That franchise is in a really bad spot. Losing their owner, having
Yeah.
passed away, it's gonna put. Who knows
Hmm.
how involved the daughters will actually be? How much do they actually understand football? Uh, Hopefully, a little more than Taylor Swift. I don't know if you guys heard any of that clip, but that was pretty humorous to hear her asking Travis Kelce what it felt like to face Jason Kelce on the field at the same time because she didn't understand that offenses were on the field at the same time. So
Well,
hopefully their
it's
knowledge
fine.
goes a little farther than that as the owners of this franchise.
Hey man, when Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce started doing their thing, the Swifties were like invading Twitter with all their astrology and stuff, and they were like fixing the NFL through astrology. So who knows? Anything is
Yeah,
possible.
I guess so. But
Who
we'll
knows?
see. All right, Stephen, we're on
Right.
question 8. We got
Eight.
two
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Yeah. Two
Last
more.
question is, of course, about the season.
Yeah.
So Xavier Kinney had, still cannot believe this. I literally
I know.
had to like stop myself. Had 8 interceptions last year, which is incredible. Who's going to
Mhm.
lead the team this year in interceptions?
Well, I would assume it's going to be him. I mean, because I'm just trying to think of their secondary. I mean, their corners aren't like I said before. I don't think their corners are anything special. Like they're no Darrell Revis or totally blanking on like the premier cornerbacks at the time. I mean, Jalen Ramsey is old.
Sertan.
But yeah, Sertan and stuff like that. Um, so I wouldn't be shocked if it's McKinney again. But I think I want to say Keyshawn Nixon had at least a couple interceptions last year. Um, but we're kind of it's a lot of filler guys. It's these guys that have had to step up over the last couple of years because the Packers apparently, especially now that I would say Jair Alexander, but obviously he's with Baltimore now.
Mhm.
But which I'm not shocked that they let him go. I mean, the guy hasn't played a full season for
If you think about it, would they be able to work if they still had Jair, do you think they would have afforded Michael Parsons? Probably not.
probably not. No. So, and again, Alexander hasn't done anything for the Packers the last couple of
Hmm.
years because he's always been hurt. So I think he's played
Right?
less than 50% of the games. Could be completely wrong on that, but it's what it feels like. So I wouldn't be shocked if it's McKinney. Instead of 7 in a row, he'll get 8 in a row and finish with 9 interceptions, obviously. So break those records or whatever it is.
Well, I mean, I think that, yeah, man, I don't know. I really like the way this Packers defense is shaping
Mhm.
up. They've got things to figure out, but
Yeah.
man, when you get someone like Micah Parsons on your team and you have Xavier McKinney on the
And
back end,
McKinney, right? Who they got for
oh,
a relatively good price as well.
yeah.
So,
Well,
it's
I cannot believe that in the same offseason, the Giants let go Xavier McKinney and Saquon Barkley. Just,
man, it's like they're almost run by Jerry Jones.
I cannot believe it.
Actually, they'd probably prefer Jerry Jones, if I'm being honest, than whoever they've got now.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's hilarious that they did that off-season HBO Max series, the Hard
Hmm.
Knocks one, and that it was literally a one and done because it ruined the Giants so much.
It's okay. They'll give all their season ticket holders a free medium drink. If you remember that whole
Yeah,
story.
yes.
Oh, here's your
Um,
consolation prize for us getting rid of Saquon and Xavier McKinney. Here,
but I mean,
here's a small Coke.
there was so much, man, that they did that just was so weird. Like their whole throwback jersey last year,
Yo,
that was, did you guys see that?
I don't remember that one. I
That
still
was
have
it was
plastered in my
weird.
mind the
It
old.
did not look good, and they made a really big deal out of bringing it back. And I understand that's when they were good. That's fine, but there's a reason why we don't wear 1930s style clothing today in 2025. But yeah,
Reminds me of the Packers always do their like Acme jerseys and like the dark blue ones with the yellow circle in the middle.
oh man,
I've
yeah,
never
that
been a really
one's
big fan of those ones, but they always bring
no.
them back because that's like their original jerseys or whatever. And not a fan of those ones, but they're not as horrendous as the Pittsburgh Steelers and their like
Oh, the
bumblebee.
bumblebees.
That was probably one of the worst jerseys I've ever seen in my life. Followed up by the Denver Broncos when they had their like brown and yellow jersey with like the candy cane striped socks. It was horrible. So nothing could be worse than that. Well, NFL wise, one of the worst jerseys I've ever seen was an NHL jersey, and it was the Montreal Canadiens. It was like red, white, and blue, like horizontal stripes. It was horrible. I don't think anything will top that. Oh, just don't do that. Don't have Bumblebee looking jerseys.
Oh man, I think I see which one you're talking about. That wow.
Also, I don't
Yeah.
like the color rush jerseys. I know that's the Montreal one.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's so awful.
Yeah, that literally looks like a USA
Yeah,
B. That's
yeah,
weird.
it's so bad. It's so
Yeah.
gross. You look it up later. So don't do
Yeah.
that. Jersey makers, don't do that. Also, stop with the color rush jerseys. I don't like those either. Like when the Packers
Yeah.
did their mustard yellow color rush jersey, that was awful. Don't do those.
Yeah. Sometimes people get carried away. It's okay
Hmm.
to stick with the
Gross.
classics.
Mm.
It's totally okay. Well,
Yeah,
Stephen,
just
that
stick with the
takes us
classics.
to,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
No, stick with the classics. Stick with these like nice colors. They always want to
Yes.
like modernize these jerseys, and it's like, no, just do what worked. That's okay.
Yeah,
Promise.
totally.
People will still buy your jerseys. It's okay.
Yes.
You're still worth $50 billion. So
Yeah, I don't think they're hurting for cash.
yeah, none of these NFL teams. Yeah.
Unless except for the Cincinnati Bengals. That one, maybe they could use a GoFundMe.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, people have been talking about how the Packers are the first team ever to have two players that are being paid a combined $100 million with Jordan Love and Micah Parsons. Because Jordan Love's making 55 million and Micah Parsons now making 45, so $100 million between two players. But you know, the Cincinnati Bengals, they have like four players, and then they're gonna have to pay everybody else peanuts and a couple of nickels, and I think that they'll be able to field
Hmm.
a team.
Yeah,
Have to grab
Hendrickson's gonna be
people
a
off the
free agent
street.
next year.
Have to bring people off the street. Hey, can pay you a couple bucks. Maybe give you a hot dog, and you can come play for us.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. So,
Yeah, who knows?
well, Steven, that brings us to the last question, which is predictions for the year. You said 11-6. You said
Hmm.
you're staying pat at second place. Are you staying with the same record as well?
Probably. Just looking at the schedule right now, it'll be interesting to see. One of the discussions they've had was about the Lions game because shockingly enough, they have no tape of Micah Parsons on the Packers and how they will use him. Um, because what was it? Dallas also did a 3-4 defense, and that's where Micah Parsons excelled with was that
Hmm.
outside linebacker. But I apparently I didn't realize this, but the Packers run a 4-3 because I'm still like have PTSD from the the Dom Capers era where they did their 3-4 defense. Um, so who knows how that'll work. But they're saying because Detroit has no tape on him, this might be the week that the Packers end up winning. So because it throws off possibly their whole game plan. But let's see.
This is how you laid it out last time, so I
Yeah,
figured
yeah,
I'd throw it
yeah.
up for you.
I could see now that the Packers got Micah Parsons, I would not be shocked if they split with the Lions.
Mm,
But
yeah, I think that's totally possible.
I could see them splitting with the Lions, but do I feel confident enough to say they're still going to finish? They're going to finish 12-5.
I mean, could you imagine that Packers Lions game on Thanksgiving Day?
Oh yeah,
That to me is just going to be so much better now with Micah Parsons and Green Bay. I mean, just
He always plays on Thanksgiving then.
he's going to be extra motivated. Well, I
yeah,
mean,
I
this
know.
whole year, you know. Jerry Jones trading, to me, it wasn't lost on me that Jerry Jones brought up Herschel Walker. Not just because of the fact of what the trade
Hmm.
value was, which I think is silly. I think he's missing a lot of context there. But he's saying that he thinks that Micah Parsons is not going to be this great player. Why would you throw out Herschel Walker, who basically had a nothing burger career after he left Dallas? Like that's why you're
Hmm.
throwing that out there. Is we, the Cowboys, are going to get way more value out of this trade than the Packers are ever going to get. And I think that that's an egregious mistake. The Packers are way more set up for success long term than Jerry Jones is making him out to be. That's
Hmm.
my take, though.
Yeah. I'm wondering if, like, looking at my predictions and still want to not contradict what I said earlier with the Lions still winning the division. I'm kind of wondering if I should switch one of these wins that they have for a loss. Um, like, could the Packers lose to the Steelers, but then they beat the because the first game is Lions at Packers, and I think that will make a difference. Um, with Lambeau Field. Um, I realize that I front loaded all their wins now. All of their wins in their first like the first half of the season. And then
Apparently, Toyotathon is not a thing, Steven. It's not real.
uh-huh.
I said apparently Toyotathon's not a thing.
Oh, is it not?
Well, that's just saying that the
Oh
record
yeah,
doesn't
that's
match
true.
up.
Now that I'm looking at it. Well, to be fair, actually I have
Actually, it's
no
3-2
all the
in
all
December. I'll take that
they
back.
win 3 games in December, so it is a thing. Um yeah, I realized that it's left hand, right hand side, right?
Yes,
Yeah. Except for the first game.
yes,
Because for
which
some
that's
reason they have
preseason.
a preseason game
Yeah, I don't know
on
why
this.
that's up there, but yeah.
Um, yeah, I could see maybe what I'll do. I'm gonna switch. I think the Packers could beat the Lions this week because of Micah Parsons. I think that is a Micah Parsons effect, and it's at Green Bay.
Hmm.
Um, but maybe they lose a game to like the Commanders or the Steelers. Hmm. Because who knows what's gonna happen with the Steelers. Hmm. You know what? I'll switch just to keep it 11-6. I'm going to switch Detroit, the Detroit Packers game, week 1, and the Commanders Packers.
Okay,
Week two.
Yeah.
okay,
What was
that's
that?
fair.
Yeah, week two.
Yeah, in week 2. I thought you said me too, but
No.
that too. No, I think I'll switch those two and still say that they're 11-6. Um, yeah.
Okay,
I don't remember what the Packers home record last year was, but it is Green Bay and Lambeau Field
It's a real thing.
makes a difference. So yeah, I'll
Hmm.
switch those two and still keep it 11-6.
they
I
were
think
they were
I think
six
that's
and three last year at home,
okay.
so pretty good.
Yeah.
66% of the time you're winning at home. That's pretty good.
66% of the time it works every time. Yeah,
Well,
I think that's reasonable. So yeah, I think they end
okay.
up winning against the Lions week 1. I'm gonna chalk it up to the Micah Parsons effect and then because I always forget that the Commanders are actually quite a really good team now. And not some sad sack football team like they were. That whole division has just a dumpster fire of owners, except for Philadelphia. That's why they win. That's why they win the division. It's because they're not the Giants, the Redskins, redacted Commanders, whatever you want to call them, and then the Cowboys. So
Can we
the
please change their names to being that to where it's the Redskins, but it's crossed out Commanders? Can
well,
that be the
that's what
official
I've seen
name?
the Washington redacteds. So they need to go back to the Redskins.
I don't I know why they did it, but it,
Uh,
yeah, it's not worked out. I mean, here's the thing. if they had chosen a name that was great, this would be no issue. But both Cleveland and Washington, with rebranding their teams, did not nail the rebrands. Guardians is
Hmm.
like okay,
Yeah, stupid
I
too.
can live with it. Commanders is just wow, we missed the entire boat. Um,
I prefer them as the football team.
The Washington football team. That reminds me of we'll bring CFL, Canadian Football League, into this. So Edmonton, their football team was called the Edmonton Eskimos, and for the
oh,
very
that's
same
right.
reason, yeah, Edmonton Eskimos, which is a great team name. Um, but they did a rebrand for the very same reason that Washington did. It's too offensive or something, even though most people didn't care. But um, they had new ownership, and so they changed it so they could also keep the same branding. They changed it to the Edmonton Elks, and their team was absolutely horrible. And so they sold the team, and then the new owner's like, "I'm changing it back to the Eskimos." And everybody's like, "Yes, we like this. We'll go to your football games now."
Yeah,
I don't know if
I don't
they're
know.
yeah, it's stupid, but
It's interesting. I don't understand the just the whole. Like I said, if you want to change the name, that's fine, but you have to stick the landing. You got to get it right. And what I would rather say is like to me, if I'm a team, I would rather tell my major investors, listen, give me 5 years, but to make sure we pick the right name, right branding, like give me 5 years. And I promise you that we'll get like I'll sign whatever agreements, whatever we need to. Don't just change it to change it. Yeah, and that's what I feel like Washington did. They just changed
oh
it.
yeah,
And it's like, no,
100%.
that's not good enough. You can't change the identity of the team and then have no plan. That doesn't work for anybody. Um, I mean, like Washington Warriors would have been better. Washington Wolves would have been better. Man, I'm trying to think of the other ones that I heard that were really good, and they just way better than Commanders. And I was like, and
The
they chose a
commies.
W. They chose a W, man, like for your logo. Like, I feel like there's only a couple teams that get away with that. Green Bay gets away with it because it's the iconic G that's been there for
Over 100
almost
years. It's
100
never going to
years.
change. Yeah.
It's Chicago Bears, same thing, almost 100 years. You get that right. But like everybody else, like do something. Don't just be this lame. I don't know. I just think it's such a cop out to choose a letter. It's a cop out of a design.
Yeah, it's like the Utah Hockey Club, right? Like I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, Utah Mammoth, it's fine. Should have done Outlaws. That was what I was hoping for. I think that's
yeah.
better than Mammoth. Should have done the Storm Mormons, but
That's what I wanted.
that's
I,
what
I
I
thought
was
that would have
hoping
been,
for it. But Utah Mammoth is fine. And it's what I like about them is that they're a different color than everybody else.
yes.
Like that light
Yeah.
blue. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, be original. Whatever you do, try your best to do
Yeah,
something that's
it's
different.
not like somebody
You know,
else, right?
like don't be the Utah Jazz and pick the colors black and white and then say, hey, we need one more color and choose yellow. Don't do that. You can do better, people. That's your business 101 advice for the day. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, let's start up our own marketing business. It's
I
like that
like it.
NBA Paint Twitter account that like creates the new logos for all the NBA teams. And all these NBA teams are now like changing
Oh
their
yeah.
logos.
Yeah. Yeah. That one's pretty cool. I like that. It's been
Yeah.
fun to follow.
Yeah.
So
They should just do that. The Washington Commanders, or whatever you want to call them, they should just talk to NBA Paint and get a new marketing scheme.
yeah. No,
There,
I agree.
we're done. We're better than Dan Snyder or whoever owns
Well,
him now.
thank goodness
That's
we
a high
cleared that
bar.
very short barrier.
And his horrible, awful stadium. So this is why you're an Eagles fan, is because you don't have a dumpster fire of ownership of like everybody else in the division.
Well, to be fair, I did come into this from family ties and everything, but it is a blessed
Oh,
time
that's
to be an
okay.
Eagles fan. It's a blessed time.
It
Uh,
really is.
we are blessed to have four owners supporting our football team.
Yes. That it helps. It really does.
Yeah. Yep. Well, hey, thanks, Stephen, for being willing
Of
to come on and join us and share some of
course.
your takes. This
Hmm.
is going to be really fun. I'm watching that Lions game now without the Packers. So got you down. You're saying that there's going to be a win in Lambeau.
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes. It's gonna be fun. So
I
anything
know
else, Andrew? Oh,
I'm gonna have to keep up with my predictions all year and see if I'm any good at this predicting thing.
Right.
Maybe I'll start a podcast if I'm any good at it. So
hey, I like it. You ever need guests, we'll join you.
There you
okay.
go. There you go.
Perfect. Perfect.
Anything else you wanted to add, Andrew?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's going to be an interesting season. Um, Everyone is picking the Packers to go to the Super Bowl, and makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Thanks for sharing your predictions, Stephen. We'll keep track of them and we will keep in touch.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us this week on the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance and special guest Steven. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and we will see you next time.
See everybody.